Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Jake. You can also call me Atrocious, and today we've got another round of the Japan One Piece TCG National Championship. So this is actually going to be the second round of the tournament. We featured round one in the last video. Very exciting match over maybe a victor I wouldn't have actually expected in this format. Very cool stuff so far, and some great stuff to come as well. If you do not know, the Japan Nationals, there are 32 players in this part of the tournament right now, and they play kind of a Swiss style portion of the tournament, very different than the other plethora of tournaments that we've broadcasted and done some unique commentary of on our channel. So they'll start out doing some Swiss rounds, and then they'll break out, I believe, into a top 8 bracket. And so we're at the beginning stages, probably going to see a 1-0 game, a 1-0 game. So let's just get into it. But full transparency first, we do not own the rights to this. I'm not going to monetize this video or anything like that. I'm just trying to get some extra commentary over an exciting round. And if you want to go check out the official stream, you can check out the description below. I've got a link there of the official live stream that you can go check out. So I don't think I recognize either of these players, so I don't know exactly what they're playing at this point while they're shuffling, but I see some green in there in the corner. Is this going to be Uta? This might be Uta. We do know that 2 Utas made it in this 32 person tournament, and so I think that this is it. I can't recall any other kind of film supernova decks. We didn't see any Eustace Captain Kids. So the Uta is going to be here. This will be very well, you all know what the matchup is because you saw the thumbnail and the title. I don't know as I'm recording this, but if this is Uta, this is very exciting. Uta, I've loved playing Uta lately since Starter Deck 11 released in the US and really the rest of the world, and I know a lot of other people have too, so I'm very excited to see this, maybe learn a couple things. I do know that Uta did gain a new card off of EB01, that's Sanji, that we talked about in one of the EB01 reveal videos that we did on the channel, so I'm excited to see if that gets incorporated into this game and how it influences this matchup. Although I don't think I know is he pile shuffling the opponent's deck? I don't think I've ever seen that. Oh god, cards are flying everywhere. Oh my gosh, he did end up pile shuffling. That's wild. And so what is Uta going to be playing against? They're doing the rock, paper, scissors. Looks like the Uta player won, facing off against Sakazuki. So Uta opting to have Sakazuki go first. I like this play. It allows you as Uta to make sure that they don't get a brand new off turn one. They're probably not going to be playing any cards turn one, just using the leader effect. So we look at the 2 hands. Oh my gosh, holy 2K for the Uta. There were 3 2K choppers in that hand, and it is going back into the deck. Both players using a mulligan now at this point. I know the Sakazuki player had like a Rob Lucci, Starter Deck Hina, Gecko Moira, Great Eruption, and I don't think I remember what the 5th card was. So definitely a worse hand, I would say, for the Uta player, but we continue on. Also, I want to know how I get one of these judges jackets. I want one of these so bad. I know it's probably really hard to get and probably near impossible if I don't work the events, but man, they just look so nice. And so starting hands are now final. No more mulligans. It looks like our Sakazuki player gets Rebecca, Amano Murakuma, a Moria, Ice Age, and I think that was a Hina there. We'll see if they let us get to see the hand again. So a little bit better, I would think, but not great overall to start. It looks very similar to your previous hand, but if anything, you did get a Hina to play immediately off of the leader effect. And so the Uta player getting a little bit more. Oh man, we've got some interesting stuff in here. We did get a Tony Chopper in there, the new Sanji that I previously mentioned, Starter Deck 12, Dracul Mihawk, and then also an alternate art of the Uta promo. I believe that is Backlight. And it does actually look like that is Backlight, one of the promo cards that you got, I believe, for attending the movie in Japan. So let me know down in the comments if you actually got any of these promos in your Uta events at your local stores. I did get to compete in one, and I got the Where the Wind Blows promo. Very excited about that. Very, very good card. I bet we see it in this Uta deck today. A very, very strong card. Or maybe not. Actually, is it banned in Japan? I actually didn't think about that. I feel like I heard, and I don't have any confirmation on this, but I thought I heard somewhere that they said that they banned the exclusive promos. So the ones like Where the Wind Blows, Backlight, you can get in the starter deck technically, so you can play it, but I don't know that for sure, to be honest. Let me know down in the comments, so then I'm curious. Choosing the leader effect on the Rebecca, that's a very interesting option for the Sakazuki. I think they did that mainly because they want the idea of potentially doing the Hina right away. So they're going to go up to 3 Dawn. They do have that Brook in deck. Brook, another one of those EB01 cards, and going to be using leader effect, pitching the Borsellino, swinging 5 right away. It's going to be a hit on the Uta, getting an I'm Invincible, and they're actually going to be playing that Brook. Brook, a very, very cool card. I love this card. On play, when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost for the turn, then KO up to one of your opponent's 0 cost characters. So especially with the when attacking, it's going to combo well with Sakazuki. So very, very good in getting that effect. And with another Brook in hand, they might be able to use the effect twice, essentially, 1 per Brook. So after that Uta swung and got that hit, they're going to play a Sanji, a new EB01 card that I mentioned. It's going to be Dawn ×1, your turn. For every 3 rested Dawn on your field, this character gains 1,000 power. 4 cost, 5,000 power character with 2,000 counter on it. So interesting. I thought of this card more as a more end game card, more of a late game style, but Uta choosing to play it as soon as they did. So very, very interesting. The Sakazuki pitching the Helmeppo and getting a 3rd Brook in this one. So I think Brook is actually not a bad character to get. We could see through the Uta, if they decide to swing with the Brook and use the minus effect, that the Backlight could play an influence. So hard playing that Hina down and using that Hina to minus the Sanji. They're going to swing 5 with the Brook, and through the secondary effect of that Brook, pop that then 0 cost Sanji. So very, very good job by that Sakazuki, looking really strong at first and taking another life. It's going to be a Uta blocker and an I'm Invincible. So already at the 4 Dawn turn, put the Uta down 3 life to only 2 left. So Uta getting a really big hand, but they got to get something going. They have 4 events, 3-4 events in that hand, and 2 more characters in those kids that don't have counter on it. So they got to get moving in this one. They're going to start off swinging 7 and using the Uta effect to grab the blocker, and it looks like they're going to go at life. They're going to take that life. It's going to be an 8-drop Moria. So looking up at the sky, they're like, oh man, I don't know if I like this or not. Not a ton of stuff to play in the next turn. I mean, you do have Houndblaze and Ice Age, and the Brooks are very, very good. So you do have some stuff that you can do, but Moria is a little bit later that you can do it. So going to use the I'm Invincible, restanding their Uta, and now swinging 8. So not putting a character at all on the field. This is a very interesting game going on right now. So they're going to take that life. It's going to be a Rob Lucci. We do know that they have another I'm Invincible. So what if they don't get a blocker here? What if off of this Tashiki and the leader effect, they don't get a blocker at all because you're not at 8 Dawn? You're only 7. You can't play the Gecko Moira. It is within reason that the Uta going into, 8 Dawn turn next turn? attaches 5 to the Uta if you have no blockers, swings 11 at you, you can counter out of it, and then they use I'm Invincible to swing 11 again. That would be actually insane. This is a wild game right now, actually, and especially with backlight. Backlight can make that move strong as well, because you get one blocker down, all your blockers are 4 or 5s, all affected by the backlight. So you grab this Borsellino off this TCG, all right, that's fine, I'll just rest it off of backlight. So they're deciding between TCG and T-Bone, and I actually think that this is kind of a hard decision, because T-Bone gives you 2k counter, which is something that you need for the I'm Invincible all-in strategy, but opting for the Borsellino instead, that might actually cost them a little bit. Going to be using leader effect and drawing into a Houndblaze. Houndblaze is not going to help you too much more, and so thinking about what they want to do now, they could swing this Hina, and they're going to swing this Hina just a regular 5, and it's going to be an Uta blocker counter out, and so swinging this 5 now at the Uta. They've got 5 Dawn left overall, so probably going to attach one to the Sakazuki leader. If I had to take a guess, they're going to pitch that Uta blocker right there, not opting for the Uta blockers, now swinging 6 and taking that life. It's going to be a Brook, that Brook coming, and then that Borsellino. So we could see right here, going to 8 Dawn, it could be attach, or wait, no, the math is a little bit different at that point, because this Borsellino came down. You have to commit 2 Dawn, right, to the Uta, or for the backlight, so that leaves you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Dawn left. So you would only get 2 8 swings, right? If you only had 6 left, you would attach 3, swing 8, and then do it again with the I'm Invincible. I don't know personally if the 8 swings are strong enough to get you out of this. Looking at his hand, it actually might be, but starting off swinging the Uta first, it's going to get a 7-drop Luffy, and this Luffy could be valuable in going the Luffy drop, Brook drop, and Usopp drop, and I think that's what they're going to do in this one. They're going to be playing that Luffy. They could play that Sanji, they won't, but playing that Brook, and then the Brook is actually going to play the Nami. The Nami is going to be good next turn to potentially find some more cards in your deck and put in your hands. So leaving it up to Destiny, I really thought they were going to go for it at that point, but the Sakazuki player, I think you're kind of like, you dust off your eyebrow, you brush off the sweat, because you're like, man, I was really worried for a second there, but now I don't think you're as worried as much, to be honest. Going in now, what could you do? They got a lot of attackers going on potentially next turn, so there's 2 different routes that you can go. You could go the removal route, right, to try to get rid of these characters through the Great Eruption, Ice Age, Houndblaze, Amano Murakuma, right, the Brooks that you have, the Brooks and their swings. Or what you could do instead is pretty much just go with the Gecko Moria and grab like a Rebecca blocker, right, because you pitch the Rebecca blocker early in this game. You could also get the Helmeppo off of that as well, so your 1 extra Dawn you could attach to the Brook, maybe knock out the Nami, but you wouldn't really be able to get out anything else overall. So it's a really interesting spot now on the 9 Dawn turn. It was a little chaotic there for a second, but now it's starting to feel a little bit better. I feel like it's still a scary moment though, and so pitching that card, grabbing the Pudding. This Pudding is a shuffle your opponent's hand and have them draw 5, and pretty good, in my opinion, kind of disruption card for your opponent's hand. A deck like Uta that can draw a lot of cards through the leader effect, through the Namis, things like that, could be valuable in this one. So with the Amano Murakuma, they're thinking about playing Ice Age as well. You've got the opportunity to use Amano Murakuma to be able to put away both the Nami and the Luffy in there and bottom deck them. So going to be using the Ice Age. I think it's going to be on that Luffy, putting it at 2 cost overall. Going to be doing 1 for a Great Eruption. I bet that's on the Nami, if anything. I don't know exactly, but they're cooking now at this point. Going to be an Amino Murakuma, putting those bottom 2 at the deck like I mentioned, and going to be moving on from there. Now, the problem is, though, you could attach 1 to the Brook. Going to be swinging the 5 at lead. Going to be countering out with potentially this Sanji, minusing the Brook by 1 to make it a 3 swing. They could, in essence, use the Brook to swing, put it at 2, and then Great Eruption the Tashigi to get the Tashigi to swing, right? So going to be putting down this Hina and forcing another counter. It's going to be that Mihawk there from the starter deck 12. And so I think what you do is you kind of go this game plan that I was talking about. You go in, or do you want to put another body out? I don't know, but they're going to be attaching that 1 and minusing the Brook to 2 cost overall. I'm going to be forcing, once again, another counter card. Now, looking at this hand, I think their only option of discarding is a 2K Chopper. So that 2K is going to be there. They're going to opt to play the Rob Lucci, just get another body on board. I don't hate this idea. Because like it just gets another body on board, more pressure to say, okay, if you don't win this turn, then that means I'm winning overall. So now at the full 10 Dawn, we'll see if the backlight I'm invincible play comes in. They're looking at their discard pile saying, okay, how many counters do you have in there? What have you got? And they don't honestly have a ton in hand. I think they have like what, 1 or 2 cards with counter overall in their hand. So this game could be over right here with the I'm invincible. What you could do is you could put 2 down to rest the Borsalino. You would leave 3 Dawn up, so that would be 5 total that you would need through those 2 events alone. So you attach the 5, swing 11 at lead, I'm invincible, swing another 11 at lead. I bet that's what they go for right here, and I bet it wins them the game overall. So the opponent's like, okay, what do you got in there? What are you doing? What's going on? I mean, obviously we know the hand, right? We know what's going on in the Sakazuki sand, so this decision is way more easier from our perspective. But from the player's perspective, when they look, I think they've played every card that they've grabbed off of Tashigi. Not a lot has been revealed in terms of the draws that they're getting off of the leader effects, obviously the draws for turn, stuff like that. So you don't actually know how much they have in hand. Going to be using backlight, resting that Borsalino, going to be attaching the 5 like I mentioned, swinging 11, going to be revealing that Mihawk and putting it at the bottom of the deck because it's not a film card, but that's fine. That 11 is going to hit. It's a 2K counter. They're going to use I'm invincible and they're going to do the thing. They're going to take this knockout. The Uta is 2-0. Oh my goodness. That was awesome. I mean, that was really, really short, but that was awesome. I love that because it was so sick. I love the Uta deck. I think it's great. I love seeing Sakazuki dethroned. Sakazuki is a really cool deck, don't get me wrong, but it's a really, really good deck, and everybody plays Sakazuki. It's very punishing, and it's very skill intensive, but oh man, I love seeing the Uta win. I love seeing the new decks win. I love seeing the quote-unquote underdog decks when I've heard some people say that Uta struggles against Sakazuki, but Sakazuki not really finding blockers in that game. I think that was the downfall, like trashing that the Rebecca really, really early, I think hurt them in the long run in this game because they couldn't get the blockers. The only other blocker they saw was that Borsalino. So that's going to be all for this one. We'll get the rest of the rounds going as we can. Thank you so much again for watching. I hope you enjoy this. Let me know if you enjoyed that game down in the comments below, if you're excited for Uta and all that jazz in a bag of chips. My name is Jake. You can call me Atrocious. And yeah, Uta, although, oh man, am I cheering for Nami or Uta? Oh, I don't know.